Okay, I call the order the November 1st, 2022 North Liberty Planning Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Ahern,
Here.
Bathgate, Janezer,
Here.
Heisler,
Here.
Staber,
Here.
Vincent,
Here.
Willer.
Okay, and then we have the agenda here. Any changes, Ryan?
Nope.
Can I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Okay, motion by Staber, second by Ahern. Roll call.
Voice vote. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Voice vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
Good job.
Sorry, I'm off my game today.
You're doing
Passes.
great. You're gonna do great.
You
That'd
get
be great.
grace for this.
I had the wrong day, so I'm going to be rusty here. Moving on, agenda item number 3. Water Tower Place preliminary subdivision plat, request of Donovan Holdings LLC for to approve a preliminary subdivision plat for an 11 lot subdivision on approximately 41.48 acres. Property is located at the west side of North Kansas Avenue, approximately 150 feet south of West Lake Road. Staff presentation.
So I have the preliminary plat up on the screen there. The outside or to the west and south would be zone C3, and then the interior and to the north would be RM12. You mentioned it's 11 lots. There's kind of an idea of what the proposed zoning looks like. I say proposed because it was considered by this commission in October. It's making its way through city council currently. But it's a pretty straightforward preliminary plat, shows extension of Madison moving south and 2 roadway connectors going to North Kansas Avenue. But pretty straightforward request. Did have a good neighbor meeting October 18th. A few people were there, just had general questions about the development. And of course, we also had one with the rezoning. To date, there's no formal objections. And so we do have 2 findings, and we do recommend that you forward this to the city council with a recommendation for approval.
Yeah.
And I know the applicants are here in case you have any questions for them.
Okay, thank you. And then with that, would the applicants like to make a presentation?
Hi, Jeff Mekada. We don't have a formal presentation, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Any public comments? I guess seeing none, move on to questions or comments from the commission.
I have none.
So I just one question. So that lot, is it number? Is it lot number 2? Would that then all driveways from that would then connect onto Madison Avenue? Is that sort of what we were?
So it'll be like, there'll be townhomes fronting on Madison, and it'll be a rear-loaded access
Oh.
garage. So those easements you see coming north-south will be like private drives.
Okay, thank you.
It's a little trickier as we get over to Kansas just because of the curve. But you'll typically have those fronting and then others behind it, and it'll just stop.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the commission? I guess moving forward, would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that the Planning Commission accept the 2 listed findings and forward the preliminary subdivision plat to the City Council with a recommendation for approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Janezer, second by Ahern. Roll call, please.
Heisler,
Aye.
Janezer,
Aye.
Vincent,
Aye.
Staber,
Aye.
Ahern.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item number 4. Public hearing on zoning map amendment request of A&M Development LLC for a zoning map amendment rezoning from O-RP Office and Research Park District to C3 Higher Intensity Commercial District on 6.57 acres. Property located on the west side of Landon Road on approximately 1,000 feet west of North Kansas Avenue. Is there a staff presentation?
Yes, just for the, make things a little bit easier, the next two items are very similar, so I'm just going to kind of present both of those at the same time. They've got the same conditions and same recommendation. Starting to see more property owners look to move towards that C3 district, the higher intensity commercial district. It just allows, but this property owner in particular doesn't have any particular user in mind at this point, but just feels might be able to sell the property a little bit more. Office Research Park has a limited number of uses that you can do it, mainly towards office and research park and hotels and daycares and things like that. Other than that, very limited number of uses. C3 has all of those as well as other uses and allows for higher density multifamily. So I believe, I think we'll eventually see the office research park go away. We could delete it from the zoning code. I think it was a trend that's been going away for quite some time. So as you can see, those are the two properties. One was on the corner of Kansas and Landon, and the other is a little bit more interior towards the I-380. Future land use map is for commercial, so zoning and land use make perfect sense. And again, we had a good neighbor meeting for both of these items on October 18th. Again, just similar people, just had a couple of questions, but no formal objections at this point. And again, same finding, same recommendation, but we do recommend that the Planning Commission accept that listed finding and forward the request to the City Council recommendation for approval.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Is the applicant here with a presentation?
Thank you. Very briefly, I'm Bob Downer. I'm the attorney for A&M Development, the developer of this property. They have owned this property for approximately 11 years. It was acquired in connection with the building of the Green State Credit Union headquarters that's adjacent. And they've worked very hard at trying to find office and research park uses with only limited success. And as has been indicated, this seems to have increasing challenges in terms of the zoning limitations in that zone. And the one piece lies between the Geico building and the Corridor Business Journal. I think the potential uses there, even if the zone differs, are very much compatible with those uses. And so we feel that there's a greater opportunity for this to be successfully developed in the new classification. Be happy to answer any questions which anyone might have, but I think the staff report pretty well says it all from our perspective.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And are there any public comments on this item? Again, seeing none obviously here, we'll just move on to questions and comments from the commission.
How many other lots are, if these two get rezoned, what other lots are out there that are not, built on right now that are still the office park zone?
So there would be, let's go back to, so you have the two that are being rezoned. Those would go to C3, and you have the one directly to the north, which is going through the process of being rezoned right now. So it'd be the Geico, the Green State Building, and the Corridor Business Journal would still be Office Research Park. Steinler Hospital also rezoned to Office Research Park just because we didn't have C3 zoning at that time. Talked to some of their designers last week and talked about possibly going to a C3 district. So there's not many left.
Okay.
Seems like the only ones that would remain are already built on and probably don't have much of a need to change the zoning, but we'll have those conversations with them. And the interior was, just in the inside of Landon Road, that it was C3 at the time, but we changed it with the new C3 district and kind of recategorized it, so that's zone C3 already. It's just different than what it was before.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Not to be a dead horse, it seems pretty straightforward. If no other questions, then can I get a motion and a second for approval?
I'll move that the planning commission accept the listed finding and forward the zoning map amendment to the city council with a recommendation for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Ahern, seconded by Staber. May I have a roll call, please?
Ahern,
Aye.
Heisler,
Aye.
Staber,
Aye.
Janizer,
Aye.
Vincent.
Aye.
Moving on to item 5 on the agenda. Public hearing on zoning map amendment. Again, request of A&M Development LLC for a zoning map amendment rezoning from ORP Office Research Park District to C3 Higher Intensity Commercial District on 5.94 acres. This property is located on the west side of Landon Road, approximately 1,000 feet west of North Kansas Avenue. Staff presentation?
Similar, same recommendation, we had same findings, same recommendation. So we recommend you move it on to the city council with a recommendation for approval.
Thank you, Ryan. And I believe I'm required to call for an applicant presentation, but sir, I assume it's the same thing. All right. In that case, we'll move on to public comments, which I'll give it a moment. But again, no public comments, so we will move on to questions and comments from the commission. And same script. All right.
Dad.
In that case, do I have a motion and second for recommendation?
I move that the planning commission accept the listed finding and forward the zoning map amendment to the city council with a recommendation for approval.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Janizer, seconded by Staber. May I have a roll call, please?
Janizer,
Aye.
Ahern,
Aye.
Staber,
Aye.
Vincent,
Aye.
Heisler.
Aye. All right. If I can catch up here. Moving on to agenda item 6, public hearing on zoning map amendment. This is the request of Scanlon Family LLC for a zoning map amendment rezoning from RS6 single unit residence district to RD10 2-unit resident district on approximately 5.28 acres. This property is located on the north side of Berkshire Lane as extended westerly 85 feet from its current terminus in Greenbelt Trail Part 2 subdivision. Ryan, staff presentation.
So this is, got the map up on the screen. Currently zoned RS6, but they asked me, my thoughts about changing the zoning to allow for 0 lot line, single family homes. I really don't have an issue with it. We're seeing market changes with cost of construction and interest rates at 7%. And I think we're probably seeing that go a little bit higher. And so this is not an uncommon request. I think as we move west from here, getting closer to the Arlington Ridge subdivision, we're going to want to hold on to that single family for compatibility. But from a planning perspective, I don't see much of a difference, and I don't have much of an issue with a mix of 0 lot lines with single family. I think they're completely compatible. In Davenport, we had zonings that just eliminated different districts altogether in favor of just 1 and 2 family districts. I'm not sure we're ready for that yet, but some communities are moving towards that trend. To the east of the property will be a future elementary school. So we are planning for a trail to come on the south side of Arlington Ridge and make its way up here into the school site. And there would be a road on the north side of the school. I suspect on the north side of that, towards North Liberty Road, probably is going to be some opportunity for some future multifamily as well. We're still kind of talking about that with them, but it seems like we don't have much in the way of newer multifamily on the east side of town. We seem to be getting a lot on the west side. So I think that's a good opportunity for a mix of housing units with really close access to the new school in this area. So zoning obviously is RS6 to RD10. Future land use map is residential. We did have our fourth good neighbor meeting on October 18th, and no one outside of city staff and the applicant attended. No formal objections to the request. So we do find that we have one listed finding. So we recommend you accept that listed finding for the request to the city council with a recommendation for approval.
Okay.
And I know the applicant's here as well.
Thank you, Ryan. And with that, well, we can hear from the applicant.
Jason Stone with Hall & Hall Engineers, working with the developer on the rezoning of this portion of the property. I'm here to answer some questions, but I guess I just give a little bit of background in that we're trying to provide a more of a transitional zoning across the property. With the future school going to the east, the developer felt that providing some other price points rather than just all residential, single family, that would be more beneficial, and that even on part one, it's actually just south of the school, that there are some duplexes provided on the southern property line of the future school. So this would kind of more or less mimic that. And other than that, I don't have anything else to add. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay. Thank you very much. And then next item is questions or comments from the public.
I mean, when I first saw this, I know that we've always discussed about trying to have it be staggered from arterial streets inwards, but given that there is a school, that it's butting up against the school, it sort of breaks that up, I guess, maybe a little bit. But and your comment about as we continue to go west, just starting to have that be single family, and I completely understand the market conditions are changing and things are getting a lot more expensive to own. Who knows how long that is, but just by setting it now, you can't change it in the future. So I mean, we could see interest rates drop in 5 or 6 years. So at first I was hesitant, but I think I'm all right at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm interested too. I know, obviously, apartment multifamily, I think, we'd want to push those more towards arterial, but if they're done well, I think scenarios like this can work, and even townhomes that are not overly dense, that are kind of intentionally and planned, and even on the interior. So I think this makes a lot of sense, but yeah, I'd love opportunities to kind of explore kind of mixing those housing unit types. This could be a good opportunity for it, especially if we get a little bit further north of the school.
Because there is multifamily south of here, right? Along North Liberty Road.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, as we get south, across from the high school, there is townhomes. Yep.
Any other questions or comments from the other commission? Well, I guess it's straightforward again. Trend we're seeing. Would anyone like to make a motion and second to recommend to City Council?
I'll move that the Planning Commission accept the listed finding and forward the zoning map amendment to the City Council with a recommendation for approval.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Ahern, seconded by Vincent. Roll call.
Staber,
Aye.
Janezer,
Aye.
Heisler,
Aye.
Ahern,
Aye.
Vincent.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 7. This is the public hearing on ordinance. This request of the City of North Liberty for an ordinance amending Chapter 168 zoning code development regulations and Chapter 169 zoning code, zoning district regulations of the North Liberty Code of Ordinances of the North by amending the use matrix and a use definition by amending off-street parking and loading setbacks and off-street parking requirements. Staff presentation, Ryan?
Pretty boring ordinance, just a couple of cleanups with the use regulations, some things I missed, but some things that I think had always been omitted, like parking standards in the P district. I don't think it was even in the old code. So just continuing to refine as we catch things, and I put them in a zoning code parking lot and get an opportunity to just come back and change it. So that's what we're doing, but pretty uneventful. But if you have any questions, I can answer them.
Thank you, Ryan. And next item is public comments. And again, seeing no public, I'll move on to questions and comments from the commission. Riveting. All right, then in that case, is there a motion and second for recommendation for approval?
Yeah, scroll back up to find it.
Should be page.
Got it. I move that the planning commission accept the listed finding and for the ordinance amendment to the city council with a recommendation for approval.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ahern, seconded by Staber. Roll call, please.
Vincent,
Aye.
Janizer,
Aye.
Ahern,
Aye.
Staber,
Aye.
Heisler.
Aye. All right. And then approval of previous minutes, which I'm still scrolling to find. Can I get a motion for, is that motion or voice vote? I'm sorry.
Need a
I'll move
motion.
to approve. Move to approve.
Sorry.
I'll second.
All right. Motion by Staber, seconded by Ahern.
All those in favor.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Perfect.
All right. Passes. Ryan, any old business?
No old business.
No old business. Anything new coming up?
We did have our open house for our comp plan, so we're getting closer to the end of that, which is exciting. We have things are starting to slow down on the construction side as far as our reviews go, but looks like we have one preliminary site plan for next month. That's about it.
That's great. With that, I won't keep anyone. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Saber, seconded by Ahern. All in favor? Say
Aye.
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 And we're out of here.